Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Raising the Consciousness of Humanity, where we explore some really deep and awakening topics. And today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Tamsin, and she's also known as the Oracle of Morcott. Now, Morcott is a collective intelligence that she is channeling that is from Lemuria, from a Lemurian collective. And they share some really deep wisdom on her YouTube channel. She's actually written a couple of books. We'll talk about those. And yeah, all this prior to this, her life was she was in Hollywood as an actress, as a producer, and actually doing some various things in Hollywood, and has made that shift, had that calling to be able to actually represent this collective and share messages to humanity. So truly exciting. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's now dive into this conversation with Tamsin and Morcott. Well, welcome, Tamsin. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited that you're here with the audience.
Thank you so much, Ron. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. So it's a gift to be here. And I know that Morcott is really grateful. They're coming through right away. I know you said welcome, Tams, and they are with me, and I always have them available to me. And in a moment when you'd like me to, I'll shift into the back seat so that they can speak. Uh,
Yeah,
but right away, I'd like to bring through that they're telling you and all of your audience in advance that we are grateful. We are deeply grateful to be in connection with you all. And thank you, Ron, for giving us the opportunity to reach your audience.
well, tell Morcott thank you for me as well. I have so many questions, and I really want to start so our audience knows a little bit about you, Tamsin, and
Okay.
your journey. And yeah, so Hollywood, you've then, I know in acting and I think producing and some other things, but then something called you somewhere along the line to step into this Oracle of Morcott, and you've written a couple books since then. So, what was it in your life? What happened? What shift that happened? Tell me a little bit about your journey, so people can understand.
Absolutely. I just want to jump in straight away. And because I'm in partial confluence with Morcott, first of all, they're much more eloquent than me. I will make it clear as possible. It's my great responsibility to make it clear, to define the difference between when I am speaking and when they are. And my the difference in the level of eloquence while I'm speaking tends to make that more clear. But because I'm partially in confluence with them, when you use the word calling, I noticed for myself that that just didn't quite resonate. And as you were continuing to form your sentence, I was thinking about that word and listening to you, Ron, at the same time. And I was realizing it wasn't so much of a calling as a feeling.
Mm,
And perhaps you could put a remembering. And I'm not just talking about myself. The reason I bring this up is because I think so many of us are almost waiting for something external to tell us or ask us or demand of us something apparently external, when actually Morcott's jumping straight in. But I want to be clear that I'm still talking. And they're just encouraging me with what it is that I'm sharing. That because there's nothing separate from us, there's nothing separate that is technically calling us, but that feeling, which I think perhaps due to religious conditioning, they're saying that's fair to say, but also by culture at large. Um, Again, I'm the one making this point, not them, but they're helping me.
mm,
We know on a soul level what is right for us, what we feel in each moment. But in my experience as Tamsin, I've found that we are so distracted or even intentionally like removed from what it
mm,
is that we're feeling, that our greatest tool that is available to us as a compass so that we can walk our path the way that feels good for us is just that our feelings. And so noticing them is that calling, is that
Mm,
it's not external. It's knowing yourself. It's feeling what feels right for you. And I think I got to know myself more greatly and stepped into doing this work more fully when I just slowed down and
mm,
quietened my mind and so could hear myself better. And this isn't to speak in arrogance whatsoever. It's just that when you listen to yourself, you can hear all that is.
mm,
And and the guides are also adding to what I've just said that when you quiet your mind, you can hear us. I'm
mm,
going to hand it to them for a minute because they're quite eager to step in and talk, which is awesome. And as I said, they're more eloquent than I am, and they know all the things. I have my limited perspective as genius as any one being is upon this planet. Even if you think you're the smartest person here, we still know like a slice of the pie that's like this thin while we're here on this earth. So I'd love to submit to them, but it feels important just to share my own experience because I think as a channel, sometimes people can think that I've sort of reached some level of like spiritual hierarchy where I must be put on a pedestal because I've obviously figured some things out. And really, I don't think I've figured out a whole lot other than just to be quiet
mm.
some of the time. A lot of my friends and family would be like, really? You've figured out how to be quiet? But I've learned how to quiet my mind at least some of the time so that I can hear myself and I can hear also an expansion or an extension of that what else I am, because we are essentially all things. I'm going
Yeah.
to hand it over to Morcott and see what they're wanting to speak to on this. Like, får jag något ortini? Hon tar ju sin e-karta, ojna. They're actually being very kind. They're saying, you're doing a good job, child. Now we'll take over and ask Ron to ask us questions. So I'll hand it over to Morcott now. Unless you have another question for me, I don't want them to. So,
Yeah, no, no, just maybe the other curiosity about your life journey was when you were a child, did you also have gifts maybe that were maybe not channeling or did did this come online at a certain time, I guess?
The guides are saying all beings, all children upon this plane have gifts. We will allow Tamsin to speak to her. I'm laughing at them for using the word allow because it's like, what? We joke quite a bit. I don't usually make fun out of them, but they make fun out of me all the time. So I just want to make that clear. And I'm laughing because I realize how that could come across to an audience who isn't familiar with our dynamic because I am allowed to do everything and anything I feel, just as all of us are, because we are the all. There's no one outside of us that could disallow us to do anything. And by listening on a soul level to what we feel, we know we can easily determine what our next step should be in every moment, no matter how seemingly unimportant or profoundly important that might be. They said Tamsin will speak to her experience. And they're making fun out of me that they were like, that's the best word that you could find in that moment to use for what we were saying. And it could have been misinterpreted. And they're laughing at me because I was the one who formed the word. Just to speak quickly to the process, it comes through in frequency. Morcott and I together find the most accurate words to match to that frequency, and they do correct me if they ever have to. So they're repeating terms and will speak to her own experience. So when I was younger, I don't think of any gifts I had. I love this expression that Morcott spoke once. They said that the gift you were given is your gift to give.
Mm,
And yeah, I feel like I don't want to speak too much to myself because like they said, we all have gifts. But I know that growing up, I remembered my name from my previous life, which could feel confronting for some people and be like, what? I'm not on board with reincarnation. I just knew my name and I refused the name I was given until I just kind of gave in to that and said, okay, I'm Tamsin. But when I was really young, whenever my mother would introduce me to people, she would say, this is Tamsin. And I
Mhm.
would say, no, I bahin Adana. I bahin Adana.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was really important to me. She said I'd be quite upset that I was being called Tamsin. And it was, I imagine, I can't remember this, but I can imagine that'd be very confusing when you're certain that your name is not that. So I'm not sure if that would be considered a gift, but certainly a memory, an ability to remember. But I don't remember any details from that existence. I do know that I've done this before, but it felt different. It felt very different in like a very different time and
Mm.
space. I do have memories. The name I later found out, Bahin, is a Sukoina Shwetakae. I get the words Hindi and Hindu mixed up, like so many of
Yep.
us. I checked in and the guides helped me. They're like, so it's a Hindi name. And and so Ufuinasha, Bahin means sister in
Mm.
Hindi. And Adana is a Hindi name. And one of the guides that comes through, who I can feel is with Morcott today, and she's the only guide that is not Lemurian, although she is partially so. The guides are saying, I literally didn't know that until now. It's because they're
Okay.
correcting me as I try to explain to you. Her name is Gupta, and she has an Indian accent. I don't know all about her, but I have a lot of connections with that. And in this life, I was going to say my body because I'm partly in confluence right now. I am part Indian, so I
Mhm.
don't exactly understand all of this, but there are memories there. Um, I remember being able to see energy
Mhm.
well, and I that was something I think so many of kids can do. I think maybe most of us can see energy. Maybe all of us can when we're tiny.
Yeah.
I do remember that, and I remember just feeling a very great sense of interconnectivity of all things, uh,
Mm.
especially when engaging with the elements. Like I love to watch water and light. Um, I really love to spend time with rocks, and
Mm.
still, and I always did. And I would connect with these like earthly energies in order to feel good. I used to collect not just beautiful crystals, but literally like rocks. I remember moving back from Spain when we were a kid. We moved from Spain to England at one point. My dad carried my bag for me for a minute. And he was like, Tamsin, what is this full of rocks? And he saw my face and he was like, it is full of rocks. And I was bringing all my favorite rocks back from Spain because they just
Wow.
mean everything to me because I feel like I know that they bring us into a greater sense of oneness because they are like concentrated energy
Mm.
as form. And Morcott speaks of how matter is energy. It's like condensed energy. And I just love rocks because of that, because you can feel their essence so deeply because they're so old and concentrated. So I've always felt very connected with the elements and with rocks. So yeah, I don't know if you'd consider those gifts rather
Well, I
strange for
would say, from my understanding, it probably connects to Lemuria in a way.
right, right,
I,
right,
I,
right.
and I think it's probably a good point to for the audience that doesn't know. I think most of my audience maybe do, but from what you could share is, from my understanding, Lemuria, then Atlantis, and then modern humans, right? Am I correct in saying that the epochs of time or whatever?
Me myself as Tamsin, I don't have any expertise on these subjects.
Okay.
Michael is coming in to speak. Uh, they're smiling and they're but not laughing. They're smiling and saying that since time doesn't exist,
Ah.
in a sense, everything is happening at once. But this is in a way a simplistic way of explaining things, which in its own way can complicate things, but is
Mm.
very challenging while upon this plane in an apparent individual vessel to
Hmm.
comprehend that neither time or space truly exist and that all
Yeah.
is and all is now. We speak much on how all is expanding at all times. And so it'd be very challenging to imagine, well, if we're always expanding, then wasn't there a before when we were smaller? Won't there be a future when we are larger? time is a part of all that is. So ufuinasha, and all is changing all the time.
mm,
Sayinisha, and so truly there is no before nor after. There really is only here and now. So ufuinasha, by using your breath, and by noticing how you feel right here, right now, you can actually feel all that is, all that you are. So for there is no division, there is no separation. And indeed, an idea which has been greatly exciting to Tamsin, which we would like to speak on more broadly, is that during this time of great transformation, we are on path to bringing together the polarity which you have all chosen to learn from and through and contribute to through to the all in essence. As this apparent individual, I may lend so much light. Indeed, the all had split, so to speak,
mm,
into 1,000 pieces so that it could understand itself from each angle. And you, as apparent individuals, are an exploration of this. And what Tamsin finds exciting and what we wish to speak to is that this polarity that you have chosen to learn and express and contribute through is drawing to a close. And so, the darkness will no longer need to be, for all
mm,
is light in essence. And since you will no longer need to learn from such contrast, from such polarity, from the illusion of separation, as is your own will. We are on a path of confluence, a place of oneness. A time and a place at which there will be no need for darkness. It will actually be obsolete. I need not this contrast to understand myself from any longer. So says the all. This is truly the path that we are all on, and humans play such a profound role in this expansion, in this transformation. And as the child was speaking to briefly before, by you, each doing precisely as you feel in each moment, as significant or insignificant as this may seem, you are affecting all in reality, not only in your own apparently personal reality, but interreflectively upon your plane and all others, for all is essentially one, and all realms reflect each other. As a change occurs, as an expansion takes place, all other realms interreflectively are affected by each of these shifts. And as you expand as apparent individuals, so too does your multiverse, so too does the all. You are such immediate effectors of all that is. And so it really is the simple truth that by you doing precisely as you feel, you change all in existence.
mm,
So remember this next time you do something that you don't feel to do. And you think, oh, well, I must do this. When actually, you yourself, not an external calling, you know you feel to do this thing differently or not to do it at all. Or notice when you're not doing something that you feel to do. And pay close attention to this. This is the gift. Just as you are. This might come in the form of guilt. This might come in the form of an uncomfortable feeling of anxiety. See these as the gifts that they are. They are simply highlighting that which needs further attention. Do not sit in guilt. It is a highlighter. Observe this. There is something to be changed here. There is something to be acknowledged here. There is something which is to be accepted here. So the list goes on. It is simply a highlighter of that which needs tending to. So perhaps just releasing, just letting go. So it is not healthy nor helpful for any one person to sit in guilt about any one thing. And this is a great shortcut, which we're grateful to share with so many of you. If you feel uncomfortable about anything at all, if you feel guilty about anything at all, if you feel anxious, do not avoid such uncomfortable feelings. Instead, be even more greatly present to them and notice what gifts lie here. As we and as Tamsin have said before, at times of challenge, remember that everything is a gift, a
Mm.
blessing, and a lesson. And it can be helpful to ask yourself, when faced with challenges in your existence, why might I have chosen this? Why might I have co-created this? And so receiving at your optimum the lesson and the blessing. Ron, we welcome any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Orcott. And yeah, so this question I think would be to Morcott. It is I'm leaning into the conversation relative to what Tamsin and I had just before hitting the record button. This morning I was reading the book, your book, The Prophecy of One,
Mm.
and I just so happened to, which I love, by the way, I just
Oh,
so happened to, my mind, I don't know, drifted, but I went to my phone, and my phone doesn't have any pop-ups or things that I don't want disturbances. So nothing is there but just the phone. And for some reason, I touched the phone, I opened it up, and your YouTube message was playing this morning that the darkness only exists to assist the light. And I realized I was the very first person to show up, and I
mhm.
was the first person to hit the like button. You had just posted it. And yeah, and so if you could reflect a little bit more about that topic, because we get so sometimes, hmm, speaking of myself or even humanity in general, about everything that's going on the stage of life, and it can be, sometimes frustrating. Some people go to anger, but that message I thought was really, really good that you shared. And if you can, maybe expand upon that, because you did share a little bit about there probably won't be no longer a need for darkness, but at this moment, it's serving in a certain way.
Yes, I think that's a great way to put it. We'd like to be clear that we're speaking as Morcott, not as Tamsin. That is a great way to put this. The sentence itself is concentrated, potent in its simplicity. It's like, first, we will speak to the truth that it is not helpful and does not bring harmony to embrace the dark. We are careful not to use this wording. Instead, we encourage that with the understanding of the truth that all is light in essence. There is a quote. We'll ask Tamsin to speak it to make clear what we are speaking in live time. So, the guides are asking me to share a quote from one of their two books. The first book, I think. They're saying it's from the first book. Embrace not the dark. Instead, envelop it with light, and so it ceases to exist.
Mm.
The guides are asking me to hand it straight back to them. And so we are very excited to remind each of you that you are all alchemists and your bodies are alchemical tools. You are each here, existing as apparent individuals, assisting the all in our collective expansion, not some greater beings outside of yourself, that which you are one with. There is no separation between you and what has been considered God or Source. You are all creating all of the time. You do so with every action you take. These actions include thoughts, feelings, by simply having one feeling, perhaps like uh, as Tamsin I speak, they're asking me to remove the word perhaps. They were thinking perhaps they'd use it, but they didn't want me to speak it. Most profoundly, the feeling of love. By you choosing to be in the experience, in the expansion of love, you are changing all that is most tangibly. For love is truly the most powerful energetic force in existence, not only upon your plane, but in the all, as the all. Essentially, all is love. All is light. And so by choosing to respond with love, as an example of your alchemical powers, if somebody speaks to you with hatred, this darkness you're faced with can be transformed with the light that you are by you choosing to be in your heart and to respond authentically, truly from from a place of love, from your heart, doing what truly feels, saying what truly feels best for you, not being in reaction nor reflection of the darkness that you had been faced with. This is how we alchemize darkness into light. And so we wish to help you each to see, to notice, and to remember that upon each of your paths, in in each of your lives, throughout each day, there are countless opportunities to alchemize darkness into light. This is not by embracing it. This is by noticing what does not feel resonant and using your heart and your essence to transform this darkness into light simply by way of responding from a place of love. And this does not mean to hate this person and say, well, I'm going to take the higher ground and I'm going to be completely separate from myself and say something I absolutely don't mean. And well, I forgive you and I am the better person now because I've said that. We find it very cute when humans make such choices, and it is indeed a step in the direction of authentically responding with love. And so do not judge yourselves, just as we do not judge you when you make such observations of yourself as we do of you. You are all delightful. And truly, we're so in awe of your progress as beings upon this plane. Instead, really notice what it is. Most astutely notice what it is that you feel. Be honest with yourself. For by being present to that which you feel upon a soul level, that which you feel in your heart in its entirety, into reflectively what you feel in your fullness as the all. For the heart is a portal to all that you are, essentially. From this place of presence, you may create most accurately what it is you feel to create, for you are noticing precisely how you feel. And so, this is a great tip when it comes to manifesting the reality you wish. However, this is what you feel on a soul level. So, this may
Mm.
not result in a big white mansion on the hill, which is so popular in people's manifestation boards and ideas. This will lead you to peace and harmony. Much more comfortable than a mansion. Though it may be your role to have a mansion in this life, it may too be your role to sleep in a very small space, perhaps even a tent, and know yourself as love and as one. Indeed, true riches are that which assist you on your path. Our path of confluence, our path of conscious oneness. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to enjoy the delights of this earth as long as you are truly delighted on a soul level and not distracted nor projected upon. To be in the illusion that things that you do not need will make you happy, and indeed that things that will make you unhappy will make you happy. You, of course, notice what we are doing to Tamsin, although you probably don't understand. We're assisting you all energetically to the degree of your own will, each
Mm.
of you apparent individuals, and assisting you in removing such projections from your heads. For you are faced with so many.
Mm.
An example of the darkness. But remember that such distractions of illusions, of things that you do not need, that which will not make you happy, all such attempts to lower your frequency are too an opportunity for your own expansion. An opportunity by way of polarity to notice how you really feel. To come into even greater alignment. Alignment simply is being in the position of doing exactly as you feel.
Mm.
From this place, you're acting in accordance with the all. You're you're in flow with all that you are. You are in harmony. And by positioning yourself in such a flow, and moving as you feel to in flow with the all, interreflectively, you're bringing all into harmonic balance. And so it could seem selfish to do as you feel on soul level within almost all cultures. Notice this. What could be more important than noticing your own feelings and acting in accordance with these? We greatly encourage you not to do as we tell you, nor any other, but to notice how you feel and to act in accordance with this, and to really check in and make sure that this is what resonates upon a soul level. This
Mm.
isn't some external projection. And remember that any external or apparently external force or attempt to lower your frequency is always a foothold from which you can find even greater alignment by way of contrast. This is deeply empowering, for it shows you all that all is opportunity to expand, and all is expanding all the time. And nothing can stop you from doing as you feel on a soul level. unless you choose not to do as you feel on a soul level. There is truly nothing more important. You all have guides who are working with you for in varying assemblies, but who, as a group, in varying forms, will consistently be with you and have consistently been with you since and indeed before you arrived on this plane, plane, so to speak. You can hear us, your guides, when you simply quiet your mind. When you hear yourself beyond the noise of apparently external projections. And you can hear us and you can feel yourself as all that you are. And you can notice, what do I feel to do now? Within the context of my understanding that I am at one with my guides, and gradually, the beings upon this plane will understand themselves as one with all things. A great place to start is by simply listening to yourself. And when hearing ideas or advice from others, fact checking this alongside your own heart, your own soul, and noticing if this truly feels resonant. It is the greatest gift both to yourself and to the all for you to do precisely as you feel. Thank you, Ron. Do you have a question?
Oh, beautifully spoken. Thank you so much. Yeah, and also as I mentioned before, I do see sometimes flashes of light behind you, and I feel a buzzing in my own third eye. So during this whole time, but I really resonate with what was shared. And yeah, questions kind of do come up. Essentially what you shared was not to embrace the darkness, but to be able to embody the light of who we are, and that
Child, you are the light. So goinasha. It is simply
yeah,
of it being that which you are. It is not outside of you for you to embody.
yeah,
It is that which is.
which you are.
And
Yeah.
so by simply noticing how you feel, as unimportant as it may seem, you can step more greatly in accordance with all the light that you are in
Mm.
your oneness with all. We don't mean to interrupt you, but
Very
just
well said, though. No, no, that's so yeah. So questions that I've had to take a little bit of a segue is diving into humanity's cosmic origin. I
mm,
know that's something I believe Morcott has maybe spoken of before.
mm.
Can you shed some light on that so people have a deeper understanding of humanity of who we are?
Yes, uwi nishi. We're grateful for the opportunity. Uwi enda kartini. As you may have noticed in our previous tukurtoinasha, we wish not to call them teachings. Kukortini. We learn so much from you as you do from us. Akarni, and interreflectively, all does from all else. Koinishi. Kartini. In truth, there is no else, all is one. Painasha. But as we have shared in previous conversations, if you like, it is our preference as the Lemurians to koinishi, not divide in any way. And so we don't wish often to name groups. For it can cause confusion and projection. We have seen much in the past that we have learned to be so cautious due to. For humans have been taught that division is truth. And it is our most poignant and focused mission to help you to know your oneness, that which you already are. Sayana Shainik Ihe. So we will share with you that ourselves, the Lemurians, in in conference and collaboration with other groups of high frequency beings. And we wish to speak to this term even so as not to cause any idea of division or superiority. To word it differently would be beings who are already in most cases within this group in full awareness of their oneness with all that is. Indeed, engaging other groups who are on that journey of learning their oneness. We collaborate to create a being that would be the essence of the multiverse. This was a sacred task, and it is the vision of so many that the humans are like like a diamond, the essence of all that is, as one being, a sacred symbol of peace in the multiverse. This might seem strange, for there is so much conflict upon this plane. But when you are able to see in greater context, humans are doing outstandingly well on their path of expansion and harmonic balance. You were created, you humans, with genetic matter from as many beings as we could combine. And so it could make sense to you why you may have conflicting thoughts or feelings at times. By bringing yourselves into harmony, you're bringing the all into harmony in in more ways than one. Energetically, literally, due to the due to the in many cases conflicting beings. Those who are in conflict, who have not yet learned their oneness, and who have not yet found peace within relations with one another. You are within yourself so many beings that you are bringing into harmony. Beings that are currently and have previously or have for very long terms been in conflict with one another. So in a sense, you are each the center of the all.
Mm.
All is. Any one cell is the center of the all. And by simply finding peace and harmony within yourselves, you are contributing that to all that you are. And what most humans don't understand, although much of this may be new to most of you, are the profound powers that you each hold. By standing in your light, you light up the all and you show the way for others to do as they feel, to stand in their light, to be the light that they are. People won't always like it because upon this plane you each hold so many ingredients, if you like, so many aspects. Included are some lower frequencies that you are alchemizing, that you are in a sense, we could use the word integrating, but remember that this integration process is leading and lending to light. This is why we use the accurate description that you, Cortoina, are each alchemists. and remind you that by doing as feels right in your heart, in your soul, you're acting in accordance, in flow with the all, and doing what is best for all. This is what it means to be in grace, to step in flow with the all. You can only do this by noticing how you feel and acting in accordance with this. And so it is helpful to note in flow with the all. And so it is helpful to note in each moment what you feel, and to remember the powers of you responding with love, because love is truly all that is. And by reminding all of what it is in essence, it is easier for all to step into such frequency. It is easier for one, Cortina and all, to upkeep this frequency. And occasionally, because of these lower frequencies, others will not prefer that you are showing them this light.
Mm.
Right now, I'm preferring to stay in this frequency. I feel threatened. I feel confronted. This is due to culture, whether that culture be originated from your own plane or another, one which you in part have derived from. The answer is always love. Be patient and compassionate with one another. You are forged with so many frequencies which are coming into harmonic balance, and it is a journey. And it's most helpful to focus upon your own path and not try too much to tell others how to do what they must do. For each path is so unique. And so, truly the most helpful and sophisticated thing that we can show you or remind you is to listen to yourself on a soul level. Beyond all else, for what's best for you is what's best for the all. And it would be easy to be deterred by another who would prefer your frequency to lower if you wish to please them in priority before yourself. And so, simply be present to what you feel and remember that what you feel on a soul level is truly what is best for you and for apparent others. Sometimes you will be showing the way, but it can be a trap of sorts, so to speak, for people. To think, well, I have now got to a place, a position at which I will not grow any further, and I will tell you all how I got here. Where are you? Until you are, and you each will be swimming in oneness with us all. Indeed able to part waters yourself. Engaging with the elements as the elements. It is best just to speak from your heart and to share what feels right. And do not stunt your own growth in attempt of assisting others on their paths. Help others on your paths as you intuit to. Notice what you feel on a soul level. Does this resonate, Ron?
Oh, very, very, very much so. I love all the words. And yes, I wish yeah, so I really feel that what you're sharing, the core essence makes total sense. There's only love. And yes, so what I'd love to talk a little bit about relative to the same subject, about how a person can shine their light. But what if a person is really lost and they don't know what their whatever, I know the word calling keeps coming up, but their sole purpose or whatever it is, a lot of times people are so drowned by all the things that are going on in the world or conditioned that maybe they're not even in touch with why they are here, or how does a person find that, I guess.
We will going to speak to the truth that most people don't know why they're here.
Hmm.
But the simple answer to this conundrum is to notice how you're feeling, and nature is a very helpful facilitator of such. For most people find it easier to sit upon a hill or a beach, in a field, in a park, on a rock, perhaps next to a tree, and they just simply notice, I feel more at peace here. I feel better here. This is beginning to notice how you feel. And this is beginning to notice your intrinsic connection with all that is. With the earth energies, with the ethereal energies, those which you can join through your own vessel, Ayanasa. And so, Book Ayinasha, simply sitting, simply being, and simply allowing yourself to be the unique expression that you are, and to observe and experience this from a place of presence. You can know yourself like Einashia, and in turn rather in time time know yourself as one. It is so very simple that it is koinasha, in a sense, to use a human expression, hiding in plain sight, and many distract themselves with external information, saying, I must learn more, when so much more is truly available to them from this place of peace which we speak of. We understand, we know that it can be greatly challenging for a person to simply sit and find such a place of peace. But for most of you who seek to better understand yourselves, there is available to you so much more than you could receive externally by way of simply listening to yourself
Hmm.
and noticing how you feel. And so we will speak to another point. When one person attempts to help another by telling them how they have expanded on their path, or how they believe they have expanded on their path, it can be greatly discomforting to the apparent other. For sometimes this person needs to be on their own journey of expansion without interference, without interruption, without even guidance that may have worked very well for you, for the other. But by being shown such guidance, they might say, well, I'm not going that way because I was told to. And a lot of things I was told to do did not work for me, were
Hmm.
not what I wished for on a soul level. And so you can even deter somebody from the next perfect steps upon their path by pointing them out for them and saying, look, there they are. So, well, I'll walk the other way, say many, because many have been taught by this realm. If you tell me to go that way, I will walk the other. So, which is understandable. We share this because it's important for you each to understand that that which has authentically worked very well for you may still not be the correct or appropriate guidance for
Hmm.
another. And so it is most important in each moment just to notice how you feel. Somebody might be telling you about a great challenge that they are in the midst of experiencing. And they might speak to you at length about the pain of their problems. You may, on the other side, think, I have had quite similar problems Their solution is quite simple. It is just A, B, C. But by handing these to Kortunishena, the person in pain, takaina shukaina taka, this might be greatly helpful or this might be greatly distractive from their path. Shoyine kaina aha. So, just as in every moment, it is most important to check in with your heart and say,
mm,
check in with yourself. Your mind remembers that A, B, C worked for you. Does your heart feel to share what worked for you?
mm,
Sometimes being compassionate means allowing somebody to be exactly where they are on their path without giving them such guidance. Sometimes giving them such guidance could distract them, could interfere even quite greatly, sometimes even to the degree that they won't find their way back onto that path because it was pointed out to them. Many people on their path of expansion reach a plateau at which they prefer not to continue to grow. And from this plateau, they will look down and tell everyone else what to do. So, here and put on a different voice, for they are not in a frequency of truth. And it is very tempting upon a path of expansion, which, of course, has times of great discomfort and even pain, to reach a place where you say, not consciously, but subconsciously, I don't want to keep learning. I'm good. I'll stay here.
mm,
And it can be very tempting from this position to make yourself feel more comfortable about not continuing at the level of openness and expansion that you were previously exploring and experiencing. From this place, you could illusionarily tell everyone else how to do things, and because you've got it figured out, to avoid such discomfort of the truth that you are actually choosing not to continue to expand at
mm.
your own optimum. Sayinashik. We point this out not to be disencouraging, but indeed to encourage you to continue upon your path of
Yeah.
expansion and to remind you that the very best thing for those others whom you felt to teach all benefit from you expanding at your optimum, for all is one. And sometimes you will check in with your heart and feel very clearly, I feel to share this. And what a gift too this is for you and for the all. This is your compass, your heart.
Nice. Be- Beautiful. It reminds me of the quote, I'm not here to teach you, I'm only here to love you.
Oh, kortenishi. Uh,
Yeah.
for all is love. Oh, ina
Yeah.
kartini.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole thing about the be still and know and being in nature and the inner listening to the inner voice, or as you said, listening to the heart. I really resonate with that because ultimately I believe that's the answer for everything.
It is. So going shaitaga, it truly is. So going to quite in Morcott saying that I can speak for a moment.
Yeah.
So this is me speaking as Tamsin. There's a quote in the second book, which is literally 1,000 thoughts. It's called 1,000 Thoughts, Food for the Soul. And it's a book that you can open on any page, and there are quotes on either side. It's literally 1,000 quotes. And one of the quotes was, love is the answer. And as it came through, I was in the back seat, just like I am when I'm channeling, like I have been today with you guys. And it's important for me during my channeling process not to think. If I'm trying to think about what's going on, it will create some sort of a slowdown for the information that's coming through because I need my vessel to be clear. There can't be any thoughts in there. But I have a couple in the back. I just have to be kind of quiet. I'm like the kid in the back. classroom. And so sometimes when something exciting comes through, I'll be like, what? And then I have to be like, shh, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep writing what's coming through or speaking what's coming through. I can't distract that. And it's my greatest responsibility to write or speak exactly what comes through as it comes through. And when they said love is the answer, I was like, that's a Beatles lyric. They can't write that. I was like, yeah, because it's true. I
Yes.
I heard another channel. What's his name? That wonderful man. Is it Anthony? He channels like some sort of a, I don't know much about it as Tamsin. I haven't asked
Yeah.
more about this, but some sort of insectoid being. It's like oh,
Oh,
mantis. He's
a
very
mantis.
interesting. A Tony, I think is his name.
I think I've heard him. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's amazing, and I
Yeah.
greatly encourage you to speak with him. And he said something, I think his words were that truth is always true. And I guess it was a perfect example of that because
Mm,
when things are just true, they're just true. And I was so surprised that such a simple truth would come through both in Morcott's material and also in the Beatles lyrics. But then, perhaps that was channeled in that moment. I haven't asked them. Ac
interesting.
shake faoin shake in it faoin shake the Beatles are showing me in shape and in light. Like, oh, fine share. But they said, of course, and then they flowed through
Yeah.
in light and color, and they were
Yeah.
showing me those, the four. I know there were five originally. It's like, they said in word, what profound purveyors of the light. And I'm trying not to cry as they're showing this light that those four
Mm,
men took uinashe and showing kakartaineshe. They're speaking to that channeling, of course,
mm,
by using the words purveyors of the light. And as Tams and I continue to speak, um, I've asked them about Bob Marley's lyrics before. As I was first channeling, like in the
mhm,
first couple of months of channeling my first book, because I'd been getting messages for people for about 7 years or something. I was only just growing comfortable with giving these messages that I had no context for. And then during lockdown, I had the such a gift of an opportunity to be on a remote ranch up in the mountains. So I was able just to be in nature. And that was when my first book came through. And as I was writing it, I remember sitting in the bath at one point and just thinking about Bob Marley's lyrics and how deeply prophetic they have always felt to me. And, specifically, I was thinking of the lyric, "Tuk o foi na she e deka e, hai na shakartini he, puk oina he, tuk ein ha." The lyric from Bob Marley's song, "Have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop the time." And
mm,
preceding that, emancipate yourselves from human slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. And and I spoke with Morcott because I was realizing the similarity once again between what was coming through in the lyrics of an
mm,
important artist and the words that were coming through from Morcott. And so I asked about Bob Marley, and they acknowledged what an important and prophetic being he was because he was. I believe it's in the first book, and I can't remember the wording that Morcott used in relation to it. And they're simply saying now to contribute because I can't remember those, but as they said, he spoke the truth, he spoke the light.
mm.
That which you all are, they added. So I'll be
Nice.
speaking again as Tamsin for a while just to not confuse. Although I'm greatly grateful for our collaboration and how much they assist me, even when I'm speaking as myself. If I'm thinking, what was that thing? They'll just be like, and just help me by
Yeah.
because it's my job to convey the words that come through, or rather to speak the words or write the words that come through in accuracy. And so I have a greater sense of oneness with Morcott because they're
Mm,
always with me and I can always hear them. And And they can always hear me, just as everyone's guides can always
Always.
hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And so when I myself have so much to learn, but I just happen to have made that step of understanding because it's my job to facilitate others in being able to hear themselves and being able to notice what it is that they feel so that they can do all that they came here to do. Moko and I was just thinking as I delivered that last sentence that recently we were speaking about the truth that so many people don't actually do what they came to this earth to do, or this, the Lemurians call it somanu, which is embracing of all of the elements that this earth is. No division, they say. It's not only one, it is all, just as you are. But continuing to speak as Tamsin, they remind us that due to the preferences of others and the societal pressures, indeed, most people don't do all that they came here to do.
Mm,
And so they say this not to promote fear, but just to remind us of what it is we're navigating here. We all chose to come here. And we all chose the precise ingredients of our life. What and where, to whom, we were born, who we are, what we look like, how our health is, every single detail. We are not a victim to anything that we experience. As cruel as that might sound, because we, we the Lemurians, we're speaking now. We understand, for we actually feel your pain. This is a misunderstanding for many. We feel it on a different level, but we feel it. But you truly are not a victim to anything. You
mm,
chose to come here. And it's very important for people to understand this. You were not tricked into being here. You made a choice from profound perspective. We can understand why some of you would imagine that you had to be tricked to have been gifted with such details of experience. However, you each chose to come, and you each chose each detail of your existence, and expansion. And you each chose what you did choose with an absolute understanding of your strength, courage, and ability to step upon the path that you paved for yourself collaboratively with your guides. So trust in yourself and have courage and be supported by the wisdom, by the knowing that your guides are with you and have always been with you and will not leave your side. Simply breathe in the light and notice what next step feels right for you in each moment. And even more sophisticated, notice the step you are on.
mm,
How do you feel now? For all is in accordance with this here and now. Ignore this, and you will not do all that you came here to do. And there is no pressure whatsoever. Nobody is telling you what to do. We greatly encourage you to do precisely as you feel. Not just some of what you feel, and then not the rest because you're concerned of what others will think or say. Remember that it is what is best for all others for you to do as you feel on a soul level, even if this can seem confronting to them and can feel very really very actually confronting for the other person. Remember that by creating such an authentic dynamic rather than suppressing what you feel on a soul level, you are showing them that they too have an opportunity to expand. In a sense, you're giving them space to expand into. Be present to your own needs, for you are all co-creating all that is all the time. So do not create from a place of prioritizing the other. For
Mhm.
by doing so, you are telling the multiverse at large that you do not matter as much of it as an apparent other, when
Okay.
in you are one with that apparent other. And so there is a void in the center of this expansion. So you are each sovereign.
Hmm.
This is the truth at the heart of what we say.
Yeah.
Are the gold. You are the gods. So by listening to yourself on a soul level,
Hmm.
you connect in force with all that you are as one. This is never selfish, for no one acting in accordance with their soul's will would do anything which is truly selfish.
Hmm.
Although in the moment it could appear selfish, for example, to leave a partner that you foinasha greatly love but are no longer in love with. So foinashe, you can see how it could seem extremely selfish to leave this partner. But let us look at what is happening energetically. If we stay in a situation that does not feel resonant upon a soul level, we are not honoring ourselves and we are truly not honoring the apparent other. So you have an expression upon your plane. If you love somebody, let them free. Set them free. It's like this is something to be greatly careful about. Some people, in their selfishness, do leave relationships that would serve them greatly in continuation. And once again, what is the solution? Listening to yourself and seeing what feels resonant on a soul level and really noticing, are there projections which are disrupting this process? Can I hear myself clearly? What do I truly feel? That step we speak of. How do I feel right now? When you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with others and you can create at your optimum. If you're
Hmm.
not honest with yourself and you're not noticing precisely how you feel, you cannot manifest accurately.
Hmm.
For you must be present to what you feel in order to create what you feel to. Creation takes place by way of will. What is it that you truly will? Does this make sense?
Total sense. Yes. Being
Simple.
true. Yeah. Very simple. Being true to the self. You're being true to the all. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, wait, no, I've got to laugh because I've never had that reaction from Morocco. They really loved that one so much. Oh my God, I always want to cry. I don't think I've ever impressed them that much. Maybe I'm being like super English by saying that. I literally want to cry. That was just so, they were like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. But without those
Yeah.
words, it was that energy. Well, you must have heard it in frequency tuning, as they call it.
Yeah.
Wow, yes. Perhaps it should be 1,001 thoughts, food for the soul. That's a great quote right there. I love it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what matters.
Yeah. No, no, that's so good. I mean, you covered so much. I don't know if I have any other questions. I think a little bit of everything was covered. Even if
Good.
even if I didn't ask the well, maybe Morcott knew the questions on my mind because as they were coming up,
Yes.
Morcott went into that
Oh, that's
next
so cool.
point. So I would say I don't really have any more questions. The only question I have is I notice when Morcott is channeling through you, are also have a little bit of light language, I guess there that's
Yeah.
part of that too. And
Yeah,
and
they
I
call it frequency tuning. They don't use the term light language.
okay.
But yeah, they use it a lot. They use it as perhaps a very simple way of explaining it. But they have explained it this way to me that it helps me as a conduit to be a facilitator for these communications to come through, and it helps the receiver to receive what's coming through. And it's like they're saying it's communication in frequency. So they're actually shortcutting the intellectual process and informing and infusing us with so much more than just they're kind of joking. They're saying just things to play with in the intellectual. They're saying they shortcut that process so that we can receive so much more in a short time.
Nice.
And they're making fun out of me. They're saying it's more fun than waiting for the pauses for Tamsin's transmissions to come through.
Yeah.
What was that much? They're really like, with
Do you get tired out in this state? Like I know they move you around a little bit too, but do you feel tired after channeling?
I do, yeah. I used to use it as an excuse to eat loads of ice cream. When I first got into sounds so weird or
Yeah.
ridiculous, but when I used to channel at first, I would literally fall asleep on the floor after writing just a few pages and like maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes of work, and I'd be asleep on the floor, and then I'd wake up and I'd eat ice cream. And I had these like mini vegan ice creams I used to get, and they're so full of sugar, and it's not great to have much sugar for all kinds of reasons. I'm learning more and more about that actually in the world of work that I'm in now. That it's harder to listen to yourself on a soul level if your body has all these sugars in it. So I
Mm.
now drink a smoothie, which you will have noticed throughout the session.
Yeah.
It's really important for me. I've learned to keep my blood sugar level up. So naively, I was just gobbling a bunch of ice cream after I'd finished sessions before
Yep.
writing sessions. But now I just know how to regulate my blood sugar level by having fruit sugars while I'm channeling. So if I do that, I don't get too tired afterwards. I don't fall asleep on the floor after each podcast interview. And by the way, you're the second person in like a week or two
Yeah.
who has said that the questions that they were about to ask were coming through in the answers or in the statements that Morcott was
Yeah.
speaking. And that's how it works in sessions. And it's news to me. I only came out of the Oracle closet last January, not this year, but in
Okay.
2025, because I published my first book anonymously. I was planning on being an anonymous channel, and then I was guided to be a sort of face for the material because it helps them to communicate with others. And I was very uncomfortable about the idea at first, but I got used to it. They're making fun out of me again, saying she's nervous now just thinking about it. They told me that I was gonna come out of they were greatly encouraging me to be a face for the material because I understand that I'm just a conduit for it, not some person who's figured it all out. So um, but they're singing, bring it back to the center, child. She's panicking because just thinking about this, I'm literally going red. And I'll be real, like it was so hard for me. I've never even admitted this publicly, but I was actually quite like I was so anxious for 3 months. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, no, 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 no. I can't do that. I don't want to explain myself at dinner parties. I don't want to tell anyone who I am, like who what I do for a living, because Morcott is not what I am. That's my job to be a very clear vessel for what comes through. I could not take it more seriously. It's my greatest responsibility. I actually thought originally that I would be doing a greater service to the material not to put a face to it so that it wasn't related to any one person. So there couldn't be that distraction element because so often I think because of religious conditioning, we tend to kind of want to look at
We
somebody.
give we give our power to an outside authority. So yeah,
Exactly.
we would be worshiping Tamsin. But you're right. That's
Right. And it's
yeah.
so funny. And I feel like I know I sort of didn't finish a sentence a minute ago because I got nervous just
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about doing that, completely freaked me out. And I was
Yeah.
never told you have to do it, and it wasn't an external calling.
Yeah.
But on a soul level, I knew I want to reach as many people as possible with this work.
Yes.
And I think that it's important for me to speak to that to some degree because it's by doing the things that made me uncomfortable, but that which I felt to on a soul level,
Hmm.
that I think the most reward I've ever experienced, certainly the most reward. I was trying to think of a better word, but I have never felt better in my life than when I know that I am accurately sharing what's coming through. And
Yeah.
now that I'm doing that on podcasts and such, I'm reaching so many more people. But I was going to say so it's only in the last like 6 months or something that I've been doing podcasts. But in a couple of weeks ago, somebody said that they too all of their questions had been answered before I had been asked them because I'm not the person here that's talking. It's Morgott talking through
Yeah.
me. Thank goodness. I'd make a total mess of it, no doubt. But that's what happens in sessions as well. So I do a lot of one-on-one sessions, and I used to ask that people ask the questions at the beginning and then we work through those. And then we shifted it completely because it's so much more validating for somebody to know during a one on one that they don't have to say anything and I don't have to know anything about them because it's not me. I'm tuning into Morcott
Mhm.
and they go into confluence with the guides or in joined forces with the guides
Yeah.
of the person that I'm sitting with remotely. And they're saying, of course, we hear all.
Yeah.
They're saying that you don't even have to be limited by the wording available for what it is that you feel, for we know what you feel in all its detail. It's like,
Yeah.
and it is our honor to be able to respond to such.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And now that we're at this point, Tamsin, let's share a little bit about how people can. You talked about one-on-one sessions, and
Yeah.
so how can people find out about those? Your website and everything that you have. You have a YouTube channel. You're on social media and on Substack as well. So,
Yeah, we have
uh,
a
and, it, and I think it was like the second Saturday of each month, right?
Yeah,
You have a
great
live.
memory, Ron. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Actually, even I forget sometimes because I'm still in semi-conference. I'm like, oh, one time Morcott was still like the one speaking, and the podcast host said, just jumped into asking that, and they were still so much like I think they'd been speaking for maybe 30 minutes or something. I'm not sure because I have no sense of time on the other side. But they asked, it seemed like they were asking Morcott, and I was like, oh shit, because they were still talking, excuse my French. And they were like, YouTube. And I was like, okay, I got this one, Morcott, which was so funny to me because Morcott understands everything. But when it came to social, I was like, I think I can help on this one.
They even understand YouTube. That's good.
That was
That's
the only thing they could say. And like they seemed pretty stunted and I had to make fun out of them because they have so many more opportunities to make fun out of me. But yeah, we've got a YouTube channel. Everything is under Morcott Material. So
okay.
Morcott with an M. Morcottmaterial.com. We have a TikTok, all the Morcott material, Substack, and we have YouTube. We'd love anyone who's interested in the material to subscribe, or follow, because we are brand new. So we're so
Mm,
grateful for any new subscribers or likes or comments. It helps us so much with the algorithm because then we get to reach more people, which
mm.
is what we're trying to do, and we're so excited to do. And we do have the second Saturday of each month, as Ron so astutely remembered. We have a live broadcast, which is really cool. It's a bit like this, but where Morcott's doing all the talking. You don't have to listen to me trying to get my wording together. It's just Morcott speaking for about an hour and about a 15-minute Q&A, and they'll be speaking to what's going on and whatever they feel to share. And they'll be doing a lot of what some people call light language, but what the Lemurians call frequency tuning. And they speak a lot about the shifts that are taking place, and they help us to adjust to the frequencies as they shift by way of this frequency tuning. So that's a really cool thing to be a part of. And yeah, we have, what did I miss? I know I missed one. We have TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Substack, and they're all Morcott material.
Your websites, two books,
Yes,
and
we do have two books. They're
yeah.
both on Amazon. The Prophecy of One and A Thousand Thoughts, Food for the Soul, which I'm wondering if that should be 1001 Thoughts because of Ron's brilliant quote that so much. That was such a favorite moment for me, Ron. I will not forget that. I want to just rewatch that part so much, like over and over, just their response. It felt like I was at a Santana concert or something. It was just so cool. Oh my God, this is so amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
happened there,
I
except
like feeling validated by Morcott that it was yeah. So that's
deeply
per
validating.
perfect. All these links that Tamsin is sharing, we will have them in a description on YouTube. So just look below the YouTube video, and it's all there. And definitely follow her YouTube channel if you're looking for this inspiration that's shared through Morcott that I truly believe is a very simple, authentic, and true to the soul way of being able to know yourself and to navigate your life in a way. So
I love
yeah,
that. The
Tamsin,
Lemurian spoke recently and said that when I asked them, what do I do? It's similar to what you just said. They said, you help people hear themselves so they can heal themselves.
yes, absolutely. You help people hear themselves so they can heal themselves. I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. And it sounded so kind of catchy. I was like, what are you guys up around some like cool oval desk, like chatting about ideas that sound really hip? Like, it's
Yeah.
but they've got this.
Yeah. No, this has been beautiful, Tamsin
Oh
and
gosh.
Morcott. Thank you so much. I really feel honored, and I really feel, even to you, Tamsin, for saying yes to not just to be in the face of Morcott, to stepping up into to that point, because it transforms anybody listening. They're hearing the material, and the very simple thing about when you're waking up to your true authentic self, nothing could be more joyful, nothing could be more happier than we when we find that connection with our heart. I mean, this is very good. So thank you
That
so much.
true. Thank you. What a beautiful thing to say, really, Ron. That's so heartfelt and it make like honestly, it makes me feel so good because it has been a journey. And I just want to encourage everyone to do whatever it is that scares them if it's also what they feel to do on a soul level, because exactly what you just said.
Yep,
Absolutely. Thank you so much
beautiful.
for having me and for
Yeah,
having me. It's a real gift to talk to you.
same here, Tamsin and Morcott. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day, Ron. Take care.
Namaste.
Namaste, brother.